There we go. All right, I think we got it. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my live and my very unofficial, rudimentary live stream setup. Just gonna kind of kill time here for a few minutes, let the room load. Oh, and maybe this won't work. Goodness. Won't work with my crazy driving. There. All right. If you're logging in here live, hello, greetings. I'm not guessing I'm going to have too many here for the live, just because I didn't really announce it. This isn't planned. I don't have any official script or anything. It's just a kind of an impromptu thing because I'm a little tired. I have many miles to go before I sleep, and I thought, hey, I can kill multiple birds with a single stone out of my field and call it good. So if you're wondering where I am and what I'm doing, I am somewhere in the great state of Wisconsin, and probably as you watch this, you're going to figure out where exactly I am if you're watching the road signs, and that's cool. And if not, if you're not map savvy, familiar with the Wisconsin kind of person, you're going to be like, whatever. It's cool either way. So, yeah, I'm just biding my time here. I don't know. I'm guessing we're probably about 2 minutes in or so. That should be enough time if anyone's coming. They're here, so I'll just get us started. So I'm Murdy May. Welcome to my live. If you are here live, type in the chat and say hi. If you are joining on the replay crew, hello and welcome. Thanks for dropping by at some point in time in the future for this epic live that I'm doing. I know you're waiting with bated breath to hear all the things that I'm going to say. Okay, not really, but you know, I'm a jokester, so whatever happens and goes, it goes, yeah. I will warn you, I am tired, so I'm probably going to have the like, hey, searching for words, you know, kind of thing or something. I'm probably a bit more animated than my normal self because, as I said, I'm tired, and you guys are going to help me stay awake tonight as I drive home, because I am about an hour-ish and 15, 20-ish minutes from home, I'm guessing. And yeah, I could use with something to keep me awake and stuff. So anyways, we're going to talk gardening, which is one of my favorite things to do, and all things horticulture and gardening and science and all that good stuff. So and before I forget, help me out with knowing if you like this type of content at any time while you're watching. Go on over to the like or dislike and smush either one. Doesn't matter. You don't have to like it. I'm not one of those that demands that we get so many likes within a particular video. I just rather know what you do or don't like. And if I see you all like it, then I'll be like, great. And if you don't, well then, okay, you don't. That's that. Thank you, person, for butting me over. So, obviously it's time to start buying your gardening seed last month, depending on if you're growing peppers or some of the earlier flower transplants and such. I know for me here, about in a week or so, we'll be starting some things for our flowers and such, but the tomatoes don't start till March. Peppers start in February or March, depending on the species, and so it's getting to be that time of year. I know we've been having a lot of great sales going on, and lot of things are already out of stock. I think last night when I checked in, there were about 120 different items that I already had out of stock. So that is fast for a typical year. It's been an interesting year of sales so far. I'm not sure if it's the political climate, economic climate, or people are just excited because they're down south and winter's been a bit more wintry than usual. But yeah, it's been busy so far. But I'm not here just to talk shop. That's just kind of a little update. If you're one of my customers and you're like, oh, you know, I'm looking for, I don't know, apricot lemonade Cosmos or Vera paste tomato. They're out already. And yeah, so it's just, that happens, and it's an okay thing to have happen. It obviously means that there are varieties that people like, and we're going to continue to offer in the years ahead because somebody wants them. I want them, if nothing else. So, but it's always nice to see that other people want them too. So, one of the things that we're working on at Murdy Mays is we are in the process of starting to videotape planting instructions for a lot of the different seeds that we sell. In the past years, I've always had just written general instructions, and I've gotten a lot of feedback from my customers saying, you know, it would be so great if you had a resource that I could go to, you know, see how this is done, because I don't know what stratification is or scarification, or, well, how are you setting up your light system or things like that. And so slowly but surely we are making efforts to do taping on those things. Of course, idealistically, one would want it done quickly and it's all going to work out great, and then reality sets in of they have to edit the videos, and you know, IRL happens, and things like that, and it doesn't happen as quickly as you hope. But that is coming. We're going to be rolling that out, and in addition to that, we're going to be updating our packets so that there's a QR code on the packets, and all you have to do is scan that with your phone, and it'll automatically take you to the YouTube page that shows you step by step how to plant those seeds or other unique care traits that you need to know, be it some type of pruning or deadheading or fertilizer, stuff like that. So the more than just the planting instructions will be rolling out slowly through the year as those things occur in my garden, so I can be videotaping them and then uploading them and adjusting the codes and whatnot as we go along. So that's something I'm really excited about. I think it'll be a really nice asset to add on to things so that we can help our customers, because I mean, obviously we want our customers to have great seed that is high quality and fits our mission, which is to have colorful varieties that are unique and are sustainably grown, organic, and fit into our value system, but also to help our customers to incorporate those techniques into their gardening, because a lot of today's gardening is kind of methods that sell you something in that. And what I mean by that is, if you know a seed company wants to sell a lot of cocoa mulch, they're going to promote how to use the cocoa mulch and you know, things that may not really be the best for that particular variety or that plant, but it sells their product, so therefore they're going to have you do that too, or think that you should be doing it. And you know, while I sell seeds, I'm not selling anything else. I don't promote other people's products. I might tell you if I like something, but I'm not making money off of, you know, promoting a company. We don't do promotional ads or things like that. And so, you know, I want to help educate people, to really educate people, not just sell you on a gimmick. Anyway, So yeah, so that's one of the things that we're working on with the YouTube page. Additionally, another thing that I've kind of been batting around to bring to the page here is, for a number of years I ran a blog and was answering customer questions there, and just people that I knew in real life. That a part of my job is that I do a lot of travel and interacting with just random people that aren't customers. They're just, typical people that you meet out and about. And when they hear who I am, what I do, and things like that, I always get a lot of questions. And in the olden days, when I had more time, I would type it up and put the answers there, and it was a great resource. And I haven't blogged in, 9-10 years. Every of my content is from before then, and I'm getting more blog hits now than I was when I was actively doing it. So it's a definite resource that I know if we could convert that to YouTube would be valuable to people. So that's kind of where I'm going. And of course, I'm so idealistic. I'm like, oh, it'd be easy to make a video or two a week. And yeah, some days that just doesn't happen, because I'm sure you, my viewer, are just as busy with your life, with all the things that pop up and stuff. And sometimes you just don't get what you think you're going to get done. And I'm at a point in my life where there are certain things that are higher priority, and those have to take precedence. And family comes first, and other careers in our family, and school, and all those kind of things. So it just, one of these days we'll get that going on there. So anyways, yeah. So because I'm driving and I am not looking at the screen, because I do not want to get in an accident, and there's a pretty good amount of traffic tonight. I'm not able to take questions tonight, but if you do put a question in the chat, I will be looking back at things and answering them at a later day. I apologize for that. It's just a little difficult tonight where I'm here driving and I don't have anyone in the car to read to me or things like that. So anyways, yeah, so I'm always game for a good question for gardening, and then I get to babble and chatter and get into my long-winded self of describing things and such. I gotta tell you a story. One of my progeny, the other day we were talking, and the child asked, okay, we were talking about GMOs and how GMOs were made, and so we recently, said child recently had a unit in science class about DNA, and starting with the Punnett squares and to figure out dominance and recessive genes, and a little bit on Mendel and his pea experiments with pod color and flower color and such. And so there's a basic understanding there of kind of, what DNA is and how things kind of go together. And so we're talking about GMO corn and soybeans. And, so I was telling about how, farmers would spray their glyphosate for years and years and years. And of course the weeds that were out in the field were building resistance to it. And then they took genes from the various weeds and spliced and diced them into corn and soybeans, and now you can spray the corn and soybeans with glyphosate. And so the child was just like, wow, just amazed by that, and upset by it too, because that's a lot of pesticide residue to be on there. And go back, gosh, I was going to say 50 years ago, but even further than that. I guess I'm really aging myself now. when I first started talking about GMOs in my college days, it was 50 years ago. Now I'm getting a little old. Go back 80 years ago, how about that, or more, and farmers just, they didn't have the pesticides, they didn't have the amount of input, and a typical farmer would have his corn seed, and at most he'd buy that, and he'd go out, he'd till up his soil and plant that seed into it, and he'd fertilize with the manure from his cows or whatever animals they raised, and he'd harvest and save seed for the next year, and that was that. It wasn't a heavy input crop, and nowadays we don't till the soil, we don't usually use natural fertilizers, at least in the large scale commercial sense, and there's so many different changes, and okay, technology is great, and progressivism and agriculture is great, but people have all these diseases, and our infertility rates are higher, and our autism rates are higher, and I realize it's not just due to agriculture necessarily. It's a much larger picture of a problem that's causing those kind of things, but it just made me realize how different things are, and how much of our agriculture is controlled by big chemical companies, and those chemical companies own the seed companies, and I'm probably botching that some. Again, remember, I am rather exhausted, hence why I'm talking as I drive home in the dark, but it just it made me harken back to my days in graduate school when one of the graduate students I worked with was working on compaction. And of course, one of the key things behind the GMO push, the low tillage push, and so on, is that they'll bring out the prairie subsection of soil and say, look, here's this, how many ever square feet of prairie soil with all the roots in it. And then they'll bring out the wheat field and say, there's so much less biomass, there's so much less root development, and your soil can wash away faster, and there's not the nutrients, and so on. But the thing, and there's compaction, and the thing that I always think back to is when I was in a laboratory where we were doing research, and one of those things was compaction, that when it came time to write up the journal articles and stuff and describe what we had done, I'd always just say, well, the soil, was compacted by regular agricultural equipment, and, through regular practices, or, little key phrases of how it would be worded. And, and of course, I'd participated in that study, and I remember how the first year when it was done, well, we didn't have a problem with compaction when we did it with the regular tractor and everything. The control and the test area were the same results. There was no statistical difference. And so then we had to bring the big dogs out the next year. We brought out roller packers that they use on the highway. And so they brought the roller packer in to roller pack parts of the field so that it would be properly compacted to represent the typical farmer's field. And you could hardly chisel that thing apart when you had to go out and dig. But we had a roller pack, and just that, sometimes the things that researchers will do to mimic real life is just so far-fetched, but they'll just say, oh, well, we did the regular thing. Yeah, regular. No. It just, as a person that used to be a researcher, as a person that does things differently now, it's just, when you're looking at research, there's so many key things that you need to look at to say, okay, what does this really mean? Who is paying for this research? how does this research benefit that person that's paying for it? Is there something that that person can sell or copyright or patent from this research? What's the benefit there? And you'll find that when you go down that rabbit hole and start really looking into things, that research is done to benefit some entity that is going to make a major amount of money off of that research saying that thing. And I mean, and it's not just in agriculture. Go look at the fitness industry, if nothing else, or nutrition and wellness. I mean, let's see, where are we at today with eggs? Are eggs healthy for me today or not? I mean, it waffles back and forth, or on eggs or butter or red meat or whatever. And I mean, you know, as with all things, when it comes to gardening, there's so much that just do your research. I just can't say that enough. So anyways, now that I have completely segued off of where this story started from, this whole thing with that child asking about GMOs and how they were made and kind of going into the different aspects of that. You know, I approach it with my knowledge and my educational background and work experience related to that. But here's a child that, I mean, you know, has learned about Mendel and basic Punnett squares and a little bit into genes and DNA structure. And you can automatically see the flaws in the research going like, wait a second, you know, you're doing all these things, but that's not necessarily better. You know, if a child can see it, why can't we as adults across the board see it? So just kind of an interesting little thing that I've been thinking about it during the days as I am counting seeds and doing all my business stuff there. So anyway, yeah, just a fun little thought. But if you're just joining, I don't know if I've probably been, I don't know, where am I at? I'm on the, yeah, I've probably been live here, I'm guessing about 20 minutes. So if you're just joining, hello, this is Murdy May. I'm driving home, and so I just thought I'd make use of my time, help myself stay awake, and entertain you guys with my random thoughts on horticulture. And I am not able to see the chat or anything, so if you're typing wonderful things and questions in there, I apologize for not responding to those. I will at a later date. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you smash that like button or the dislike button, either or. I appreciate the feedback. It tells me what you like and what kind of content I should or should not create in the future. And if you're on our replay crew, hello to the future, and thanks for joining in at some later date. I kind of feel like I'm Storm Runner Media or Brandon Kopic or something tonight. You know, driving the roads, and it's kind of dark, and the only thing is there's really no storm events happening. The moon is shining, and it's a nice clear night tonight, so I don't have like a blizzard occurring in front of me. If you've never watched like the live videos of guys out chasing storms and snowstorms, tornadoes, whatever, you're gonna be like, what? But yeah, so there, you know, I'm being like those guys, but without interesting weather happening too, which is okay. I'm good with driving on dry roads. That's best. You know, with gear and everything. Let's hope that that's the worst of my things to have to conquer tonight, and hopefully we see no deer. That would be wonderful. But yeah, so I was doing some professionally related things today, some not. And so I was in the big city, the metropolis of Madison, and hanging out there. And you know, I've been a Madisonian since birth. I don't know, not really. That makes me sound like I lived in Madison my whole life or something, but just, you know, I've always lived near enough to Madison for like the first 3/4 of my life so far, that it was someplace I frequented a lot. Let's just put it that way. And in the most recent quarter of my life, I haven't frequented Madison as much, and that's not like a personal choice, like I'm not gonna go to Madison anymore, but just I don't live in the area anymore. It's not my stomping grounds as frequently. So it's just every time I go back, it's just so amazing to see the changes that have happened. And it's not like I'm not going there frequently. It's just growing so much everywhere. And it's like, oh, that used to be whatever, and now it's a high-rise complex or a coffee shop or a whatever, or Quick Trip, which if you're watching from another state, by Quick Trip, that would be KWIK Quick Trip, not QUIK Quick Trip, which is what a lot of the rest of the country has. So and if you don't know what a Wisconsin type Quick Trip is, it's like a anemic Buc-ee's, in that it's big, they're everywhere, but they're not as cool as Buc-ee's. So yeah. They don't have all the stuff. They just have laser donuts and I don't know, stuff. Convenience store stuff, and they're everywhere. Every town has multiples. It's just every place has Quick Trip, and they're based out of La Crosse, Wisconsin. But yeah. So, and if you don't have a Quick Trip yet, wait 5 minutes, and they will have put one up next to you. That's kind of, they've really been on a big expansion for I don't know how many years, but just, I know, like, kind of around where we live, they keep popping up. But the thing is that you think, like, oh, they're going to overpopulate, but they're never slow. Every time you go, they're super busy. So, oh, hey, there's the Kalahari. Anyone want to go to the water park with me? If you don't know where I am, I'll give you a hint. It's America's largest water park capital of the world, whatever you want to call it. So, and if you know where I'm talking about, the Kalahari just recently announced here that they're going to be adding on, I don't even know how many thousands of square feet of new indoor water park. So they're going to get even bigger. So I'm sure that's going to be a couple year process, but then it's going to be very epic for the area and tourism, and those of us that like to go and float down the lazy river with a life jacket on or something. I don't know. I am tired. I'm getting a little silly here. So all I say is, hey, just that's your thing, go for it. I'm not a big water park person. I'll do the lazy river, I'll do the hot tub, and we're good. I just, very low key kind of person, but going down like the death defying, go upside down, swing side to side tube of death, water related, not my thing. But the rest of my family enjoys that. So they go do their thing, and I just sit in the hot tub, and I'm like, I get a day off. It's like a day at the spa for me. So it's all good. But yeah. So, oh, there's a Quick Trip now. Go figure. Just because we just talked about it. Actually, that's a new one, because they never used to have Quick Trips in the Dells. And they've only come in, I don't know, last couple years maybe, but yeah, why am I talking about Quick Trip? That is not gardening related at all. Oh dear, I am tired and random. Anyway, so let's see, what is a question I get Oh, I know it would be a good conversation. Okay, well, I say conversation. It's not like you and I are chatting back and forth, since I have no way to see what my viewers here are doing or saying until later. I know something that can kill time and fill in the spaces here till I get home. So one of the feedbacks I have gotten, both on my blog and for the videos I posted, which I know I have a very sparse amount of videos put up, just because I am so not a video editor and all that kind of stuff. I wish, and I do have people that would do it for me. It's not like I need to go hire someone. The offers are there. It's just I need to capitalize on them. What are you doing behind me, dude? Thank you for putting your brights on. I'm now blinded. People from my blog, from here on YouTube, and in real life, if they've talked to me long enough, look at my case. Why do you hate master gardeners? And I guess I've taken a rather abrupt stand on master gardeners, at least in people's opinions. And the first thing is, I don't. I'm really not that anti-master gardener. Maybe I've been to I guess maybe the two-dimensionality, that's not a word, two-dimensional aspect of my blog, being that it's just words on a paper or web page instead of me actually putting the inflection into it. I probably do come off as being rather sour about master gardeners. So let me tell you why this is, because this is a great opportunity to go into that. It's going off on my phone. Well, that's good. Now I know it's... Okay, let's get over before I cause an accident. Yeah, master gardeners. So very early on into my horticultural career, I encountered master gardeners, and this was back when I was, oh goodness, late teens. Working in a larger place, and there was a local master gardener group. The area where I lived did not have their own group yet. So there was one in like a surrounding community, maybe about, 45 minutes away or so, that had a master gardeners group. And so there was a public venue that, was associated with my work, and these master gardeners would come and do the gardening and landscaping at it. And, I've been gardening since, was knee-high to a grasshopper. And so I'm not a novice at gardening at this point. I knew what I was doing, and I'd see these master gardeners come, and they'd be doing things, and what they were doing would just defy logic. And and you'd watch them and be like, what in the world, and I'd be open-minded. Okay, now maybe that's a new technique or something, and just leave them to be. And if you'd interact with them, they had this kind of superior, well, I'm a master gardener, and I have learned about this wonderful plant, passiflora, blah, 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 or something, not that they were learning about passion flowers, but just, something. They'd have the Latin, and they wouldn't necessarily maybe have the Latin just accurate, but, they'd know the Latin term for it, and it'd be something, very foo-foo and, high quality, expensive, whatever. Okay, so they go and they put it out. Oh, it's going to grow beautifully because I'm a master gardener. I'm so wonderful. And did they say those exact words? No. But that was the persona that they were exuding. And they were exuding a lot, along with sweat. Because it was summer, But anyway, so, you'd watch these master gardeners, and then they'd do a little bit of something and plant a little bit of something, and then they wouldn't show up for like a month. And in that month's time, weeds would grow. The foo-foo plant that was some, wonderful introduced species from somewhere far away that was a zone whatever would die. Or it would look sickly, or, it wasn't at peak of whatever it was supposed to be. And then they'd come back, and the first thing oh, how dare someone has killed my wonderful little foo-foo plant or made it sick, and they must have had their horrible whatever related plant near it to spread the disease. And it was never the fact that maybe they didn't plant it in the right zone, maybe they never came back to water it to help it through the transplant shock. The very most basic things that a gardener might know. I don't know, just little stuff like that. So I watched this for a few years, and so that was my introduction to master gardeners, that they were overeducated idiots. Oh, I'm sorry, did I say that? I'm sorry. That sometimes pops out. I apologize. That's the exhaustion talking, right? But anyway, so fast forward a couple years, and a coworker of mine was a master gardener, and very good gardener. He and his wife, they were in charge of their club that was in a different area than the people I had originally been encountering, and he was somebody that had gardened his whole life, and he was, I don't know, 40s, 50s, somewhere in there, older, but he knew what he was doing. And he had basically become a master gardener to round out and enrich his gardening experience versus becoming a master gardener to, have an extra medal around his neck kind of thing. And then, as I continued on through my career and such, I met people of both sides, I guess you could say. Ones that really knew what they were doing. They used being a master gardener as a way to enrich and to help other people, to use it as a community service type of thing, to give back to others. They had their heart in the right place. Then there were other master gardeners I met that, depending on where you're at, some programs vary, but different programs I've heard about, you take 6, 10, maybe more weeks of class. And then at the end of that class, you have an open book test. Now, I don't know if everybody's local extension does it the same way, but multiple people that I know that have gone through the Master Gardener experience, that's what I've heard they've done. And so, taking a class on nursing, one class on nursing, does not make me a nurse. But because the word master is in front of it, for them, taking one class on gardening makes them a master. So it's that kind of perspective. Anyway, so when I was, doing my further education for my graduate studies and such, I actually got to know some people that were very high in the Master Gardener world, teaching and whatnot, and depending on the individual, they could go on either of those two types. One really, well, and I should say that all of the ones I knew were very well educated. One of them definitely had the attitude to go with it, taking that master to a whole new level, and the others were very humble and really wanting to do good. But anyways, so I, it wasn't anything at that time that I really, I didn't really think about it. It wasn't something I really had an opinion on. It was just kind of like, whatever. Well, when I went to work in the seed industry, my first job in the seed industry, I was, one of my tasks in that job was working as a horticulturist with customers and answering their questions. Gee, I wonder how that translated to now. It's like I've done that in the past. But anyways, I was answering their questions, and it was how it kind of worked is we had a call center, and people would call into the call center, and they could answer basic questions and stuff. But if it was something more involved, I would get it. And then I started noticing if it was a master gardener, I would get it too, because I'm not saying every master gardener call, but it was the ones that had ended with well, I am a master gardener, and you don't know what you're talking about, because I am a master gardener. Those calls. Those were the fun ones to call back, because, as soon as you call and talk to someone, they're a master gardener, and they're going to know everything about gardening, and you little person that works in the seed company, you don't know the Latin name of what I know. Well, actually, yes, I do. So you can take your cucurbita pepo and go plant it in the sun, lady, because when you plant it in the shade, you're not going to have as good of a performance out of it. So, yeah. Maybe I do know a few of those Latin names. Anyway, it was always a trip, because they wanted to fleece you, and because they knew more than you, and you silly little, horticulturist, how dare you question anything they say, because they took the class one time and got a title that went in front of gardener, and it went to their head, and now they are the superior king or queen of gardening, and you dare not question that. But one time I had a lady that was particularly interesting, and this many years on, I don't remember what it was about, but it was something very basic, and she had botched it up, and I asked the traditional questions. Well, did you do this? Did you do that? And she hadn't done whatever she was supposed to have, and it had died, and we had already replaced whatever it was for her. She had done the wrong things again, and here we were, and she wanted her compensation and then some. And of course that wasn't something that I could give, because you don't get more back than what you paid originally if you're going to get a refund, kind of thing. And so we went round and round and round, and she got pretty mad at me, and then she threw the master gardener card, and I did not know going into that call that she was a master gardener, so that hadn't come up yet. And so she said, well, I'm a master gardener, and and she went on some old tirade about how stupid I was, and how wonderful she was because she was a master gardener. And I said, well, I'd had enough, and this was not a proud moment for me. But she had driven me up the wall and back down a few times, and just, we'd gone round and round, and I was like, well, I have a master's degree, and it took me this many years of, post-secondary education to get that, and you have, something that took a few weeks in an open book test to get. So I do know what I'm talking about. Here's my credentials, and kind of just laid it down, because I was done. And she didn't have much to say after that. She was pretty quiet. And, so that's kind of why, when I tell that story, people are like, you hate master gardeners. No, I don't hate them. I don't hate anyone. But it's just, I guess I don't like it when a title puffs you up so full of pride that you can't listen to common sense, or you're not open to really learning. Because I have a master's degree among other degrees, but the day that I got my master's degree, I didn't go, I am the master of horticulture, bow down before me or something. It's not like, if anything, getting that degree and going through the process to get my various degrees was an education in itself, to learn that I know nothing. Yes, I know these things that I've had to take tests on, and yes, I know things I've researched and stuff that I've done, but you break me out of what I know or have done, and I know nothing. And every year as a gardener, when I go in and I'm, planting my beans or my tomatoes or what have you, every year is an educational experience, and I learn stuff every year. And I've been doing this for over 40 years. I'm nowhere near being a master. I would never put that title in front of my name, that I'm the master gardener, or I'm the master horticulturist, or whatever. It doesn't matter if you're a gardener or a carpenter or whatever. Anyone who truly wants to be good at what they're doing is always learning. There's always new things out there. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's, for the carpenter, if it's a new type of wood, or, a new type of, I don't know, I say wood, nowadays they're coming out with like the layer, I don't know, MDS, or I don't know, something. People I've heard talking about that do building and stuff. That's not my area of expertise. So, new products come out all the time that you have to learn how to use and what to do with it. And gardening is the same, because there's always new varieties coming out, and there's things that you haven't tried, maybe an old heirloom variety that there's a trick to it. And, I've learned, for example, with tomatoes. A tomato's a tomato, and they all grow the same, and there's nothing special about it in terms of you plant the seed in the ground, you make sure the ground is warm, you transplant them out, you grow the tomato, you fertilize it these times, and there you have it. And I mean, as somebody who has around 1,200 varieties of tomatoes, just 1,200-ish, I think. I haven't counted recently, but every single one of those varieties is unique. Each one has its own quirks, and you need to know, they're like people. Every person has their quirks. Every tomato variety has its quirks. And then we could even go further and say each plant has its own quirks, but I'm not gonna go that far tonight. But anyways, I no matter how long I'm on this earth roaming around, I'm never going to be a master at gardening. I will always be learning. I'm not a novice, but I'm always somewhere on that spectrum, continuing to increase my knowledge, but never quite getting to the pinnacle. And I think no matter where you are in life, and no matter what you're talking about, when it comes to something, that's how everything is. There's always new things to learn. So that's why, and in the years since, I've met a lot more master gardeners. I'm friends with some of them, and the ones I'm friends with, they're down to earth. It's an asset and a tool in their box versus a medal or a trophy on their shelf, kind of thing. And I'm not anti. I'm just, it's like all things. It's your perspective, I guess. So now that I've waxed philosophically on master gardeners, now you know. Maybe I should entitle this as like, and Murdy May waxes philosophically on the master gardeners and the different types. But one thing I did see, and this always makes me crack up, is one of the master gardeners I knew, one of the very fancy master gardeners I knew, would take Walmart bags and wear them, like she'd have her sneakers or whatever she was wearing on, and then she would encase her foot in a Walmart bag, and I think she rubber banded or tied it on with twine or something, and then, what was it? She tied a Walmart bag around each knee, and she would have, it wasn't Walmart bags on her hand. What did she put on her hand? Maybe it wasn't gloves. It was something weird, and I don't remember what was on her hands. But she would encase herself, like the areas that were going to touch the soil, she would encase in plastic. And it was always kind of intriguing because the Walmart bag shredded within no time at all. And so, at first you think like, okay, you're trying to keep your hands, knees, feet clean because you're in the soil. And then, well, maybe, if it had been on her hands, maybe you're afraid of microorganisms or something. But they shredded. So she just was walking around with these like random shreds of Walmart bags attached to her. I never understood it. I didn't want to be rude and go up to her and be like, what's up with the Walmart bags? So, I don't know, maybe, if you know what the Walmart bag thing was about, like, is there a reason? Maybe I'm just sheltered, I don't know. But, anyway, yeah, it was an interesting kind of thing. It's one of those little quirks that, I don't know, probably better in theory than in action, so, anyway, yeah. So, I had a couple customers recently ask about my indigo tomatoes and if they were the GMO deep purple tomato, or related to it, I should say, and if I would be offering the deep purple tomato. And this is not, I kick myself, especially now. So about a year ago, Purple Galaxy, I want to say is the name. I'm probably getting that wrong, because I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, and I don't remember, but I think it's Purple Galaxy, or Deep Purple Galaxy, something like that is the name of the variety. It's a GMO variety, and obviously it does not have a natural tomato color. It's been enhanced due to genetic modifications. And if you, I'm not going to throw out the real name here, because I don't want to get any liability or, like you were talking about my company. But a certain catalog last year had it on their cover, and they were selling a product that was vibrantly purple tomato, and they, like it was not a GMO. It was an open pollinated variety, and when I saw that, I'm like, whoa! But that looks really similar to the GMO one. How's this working? Where did it come from? Why have I never heard of something of that nature and color? And then it came out that they had kind of bought the GMO or had been looking into getting that. I don't know if they actually physically bought it or if it was they were supposed to buy it and it felt, they found out. I don't know, they aren't working. It's not my business. But anyways, since that all happened and that company had to have a very public kind of egg on their face moment, a lot of people have really been kind of concerned about the indigos. And by the indigos, it would be out of Oregon State University's breeding programs, and the varieties, indigo rose is the most prevalent one that if you've read a seed catalog in the last 15 years and looked at the tomatoes, indigo rose is a very prevalent one. But in addition to the rose variation, there's also indigo apple, blue beauty, blueberries, blue gold berries, cream berries, and then a lot of different hybrids like indigo kumquat and indigo sun and pear drops, and I forget on all of them which ones are the F1s or open pollinated and whatnot. There's a ton of them, and it seems like every time you turn around, depending where you look, you find other ones, like chocolate or clackamas blueberries or Smurfs, Dancing with Smurfs and stuff. Really cool varieties. And what the difference are, why those aren't GMOs. So the GMO one is, from what I've heard, I've not grown it, I have no experience with it, just what I've read online, is that the GMO purple variety starts out green, and it stays green until it ripens. Whereas the indigo varieties, many of them open pollinated, a good quantity of them hybrid, that are out of the Oregon State University breeding program, those ones have anthocyanin in them to cause that purple coloring. And what happens is the anthocyanin develops pigment-wise in the fruit any place where the fruit is exposed to UV rays. So essentially, if you have really high foliage cover on your tomatoes, you're not going to necessarily have much indigo color on them because the sun just isn't shining on them. It's not getting that UV ray to them. And of course, you know, if you get the people that are all about tomato pruning and all that in here, they'd be like, well, you just need to prune more. And we're not even going to go in right now to the whole tomato pruning and my personal perspectives on that. But that's a conversation for either later or another day. But anyways, with the indigos, so what happens, of course, that indigo coloring from the anthocyanin development, that's going to remain. It will not go away because through a more complex process that involves a lot of biochemistry and schematics that I can't draw for you right now to show the chemical pathways, the anthocyanin covers up the chlorophyll color. And of course, a green tomato, the reason why a tomato looks green is that chlorophyll is present. It's just like a leaf or something where chlorophyll is present, and when it's present, it's the dominant color. But then when the chlorophyll dies off due to senescence in a leaf or due to ripening and a whole variety of hormone development, progression, etc., that's involved with ripening, that's brought on by ethylene in the tomato fruit, which, again, lots of biochemical pathways, conversation for another day. Anyways, that chlorophyll degrades, and then when you look at the fruit, you see the coloration that was always there underneath, be it cream or red or orange or what have you. And of course, also too, in that whole process of your chlorophyll degrading, you also have the process of your conversion in sugars and other things that lead to it from going to something that's like a hard rock into a softened fruit. But yeah, they're not GMOs. They never have been. When we're talking about those indigo type varieties, it's simply just a natural kind of a defense mechanism almost to have that anthocyanin development. It's kind of like to equate it to a human. The anthocyanin development in relationship to UV rays is similar to a human developing a sunburn or suntan to exposure of their skin to UV rays. So it's that kind of a thing. And of course, you know, a lot of tomatoes don't have that. And ones that don't have it, if you've ever grown tomatoes, you know that they can suffer from sun scald and you know, problems with that. So you usually don't see that too much in the anthocyanin pigmented tomatoes. But anyways, yeah, so they're not GMOs, and we're not carrying any GMOs. And yeah. What else? What else do I want to talk about? Well, I'm getting close to home, so I better not start any big conversations. Oh, I know something I can touch on, just briefly. But before I say that, if you've come in since I've been talking, hello. I am driving home and I am tired, and this is my mechanism to stay awake tonight. And I figured I'd kill multiple birds with a single stone. Actually, I probably should not. I figured I would introduce a new hole to various birds at the same time with a single stone. You should probably watch my words I say, so I'm not saying anything that YouTube doesn't like that's going to make my video never get seen again. But yeah, so I figured it was a good time to just sit and talk to you guys and wax poetically about horticulture and things like that. So if you've come in here since I've been driving, I am not able to see if anyone is even listening to me in here. I hope I have some willing listeners though. But drop down in the chat, say hi or whatever, and if you could, smush that like or dislike button to let me know how you like this content. This probably isn't the type of video that you'll see frequently on here, because driving videos just aren't something that fall into my usual repertoire, but for today it works because this is where we're at. So anyway, yeah. And if you're on my replay crew, hello. You probably have already heard me saying that earlier, so I don't have to really go into that all again. Yeah, okay. Novice here, hi. Sorry if I sound like a dork. Another thing I won't go into, this is something that I want to talk about more fully in a video. Another thing I frequently get asked by customers is why I haven't signed the Safe Seed Pledge. And when I get that email, I always kind of chuckle, because in the horticulture world, in the seed world, the Safe Seed Pledge is, it's like a badge of honor. I have signed the Safe Seed Pledge, therefore I really am ensuring that I am protecting your seed and making it possible for you to have the best garden. And if you hear that tone of voice, you know what's coming next. It's not the Master Gardener voice, but we're not far from that. But yes, I have not signed the Safe Seed Pledge, and there will never be a day that I would ever sign that Safe Seed Pledge. Now, before you go and lest you think horribly of me that I would not sign the Safe Seed Pledge, and I don't espouse the views that are shown in it. The Safe Seed, let me say this, I will go on the record. The Safe Seed Pledge is a gimmick. It's a gimmick for somebody that wants a certain something, and it's a gimmick because the person you are buying things from, hold it. Don't need to be chased down tonight. Hello, Mr. State Patrol. I'm not doing anything illegal, but I also don't want to find out that they want to pull me over because they think I'm like watching. I can switch that. Okay, I think I'm live. I don't know. Can I see that? No, I don't want to rotate it. Let's see. I don't know how to see the chat without causing problems. Okay, I have no viewers, but I know I had one here when I got back on. Anyway, if you're watching this, apparently, yeah, so when I put my phone down for the State Patrol guy that was there, the thing, when I sat back up, the phone said that YouTube was making my phone overheat. So, yeah, not maybe the best thing to have happen. So, sit up. Okay, what are we doing here? No, I don't want to do that. Okay. Hello, random person. Okay. Are you going to go? So I can go. I'm not going to do a lot more here. Yeah, so my phone overheated and wouldn't turn back on, and it looks like I'm in the same stream. I don't know if this will be saved. Yeah, so I don't know. I've noticed that YouTube does make my phone overheat, and that's whether I'm videotaping or I'm like watching random YouTube videos. Ooh, that is really blurry. I hope I did not. Come on. Okay. No. There. Okay. Anyway, we'll save the Safe Seed Pledge story in its entirety for another day. Just because I don't want to like kill my phone. It's not that old, and yeah, no sense overdoing it. But I thought I'd come back. I didn't die. I didn't run off the road. It's just, yay technology and its ability to overheat. Alright, come on, dude. So, and close to home anyway, so if you can't tell, I'm at a very busy truck stop, and yeah. So, what? Why are you waiting for me? Okay. Well, now I can't go, dude. Sorry. I don't know what you're doing. Ah! Nothing like the traffic jams of Oakdale. Which, blink and you'll miss it, but... Oh! Alright, maybe this is a slide. In case the rest of them weren't obvious enough. Stay! Okay, that's it. I'm wrapping this up because apparently now it doesn't like me. So, anyways, I hope you have enjoyed this live and my random ramblings, and we'll catch up again sometime soon. So, thanks for stopping by and for joining me as I head home. I'm not far from home now, so we are close, and yeah. So remember, if you haven't done already, smush that button to let me know if you like this video or not. So either or, it's cool. So have a great night. Until next time, bye bye.